Hello, good morning. Welcome if you're just joining us here on BBC Two. This is BBC Breakfast with Lakshmi Gopal and Ben Thompson.
Good morning. Now, Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a muscle wasting condition. Now, it usually affects boys in early childhood, but the development of a relatively new drug that can slow its progression is now offering hope to patients.
Despite that, though, families of those living with the condition say they're still struggling to access the treatment that's already been conditionally approved for use on the NHS. As Stuart Wincup now reports.
Macaulay has always loved playing sport. He can no longer play all sports, though, after being diagnosed with a muscle-wasting disease, Duchenne muscular dystrophy. But he's not let it hold him back.
I don't think I can run as fast as I used to be because I'm on steroids called the Flozicort, and it's a steroid which keeps you shorter and it has a few side effects. And I think I'm just a bit in between because I can't run as fast as some people, but that doesn't bother me. I'm okay with it.
Last November, a new drug called givinostat was approved as safe for use. It's not a cure, but it can slow down the fast-moving disease. But families like Macaulay's say for months they've been denied access to this life-changing drug.
So this is the first groundbreaking drug that not only will help our children prevent the damage of their muscles, but it could also help repair the muscles. Not only will they be able to walk for longer, they'll be able to use their arms for longer, their hearts and their lungs will be stronger, and as a result, it'll be able to give them a longer, more independent life.
The drug was initially offered for free while it awaits NHS clearance. To use it, health bosses had to fund the staffing for treating patients, carrying out blood tests and collecting data. But only 2 hospitals agreed, and they were in Leicestershire and Swansea.
This is a really critical time pressure situation because the drug is only available to boys who can walk. So once they stop walking, they will no longer be able to take this drug. And some boys who were eligible for this drug are now not eligible to take it because they've stopped walking.
Newcastle provides some of the world's leading research and care for patients with muscular dystrophy, and the local trust provides treatment to children right across the region. In a statement, the Newcastle Hospitals Trust said, "We are pleased to confirm we will be able to make givinostat available very soon. The clinical team will be discussing the drug with patients who are eligible at their next appointment, and we are delighted to make this important treatment available to patients across the northeastern Cumbria." The family are pleased it's on its way, but say they shouldn't have had to fight and campaign to get access to a free drug that could be life-changing.
It's confidence, it's the ability to keep up with his peers for as long as possible. The ability to walk for him is really important. He loves playing sport. He continues to play sport. We've modified the sports he plays. So it's really important that we keep that confidence going and keep him active for as long as possible. And this drug would help.
Although no date has been given, the Trust has told the family very positive progress has been made, and it hopes to start treatment with givinostat in the near future. Stuart Wincup, BBC News.
And I'm pleased to say Emily Reuben, who you saw a little bit briefly in Stuart's piece there, is joining us now. Emily, thank you and good morning. Just to clarify, you're the co-founder of the charity Duchenne UK. Tell us a little bit about how severe the impact is when families cannot access this drug.
Well, good morning, Lakshmi, and thank you so much for having me on. I think what's so devastating about this situation is that up until November last year, all that families had to contend with was the reality of living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And I can't sugarcoat that reality, that diagnosis. You know, every family I speak to, they remember that moment of diagnosis with absolute painful clarity, because you imagine your son growing into the next Jude Bellingham or the next Owen Farrell. And what happened to my family and what happens to many families is you're told by the doctors, no, that's not going to happen. In fact, your son, who on the outside looks healthy, his muscles are actually dying. And the cruelty about Duchenne is that you are rendered powerless as a parent, and your one overriding urge and job to nurture and protect your child is ripped away from you by this diagnosis. And so now we're in a situation where not only are parents dealing with that, but they're also facing a gross injustice, and that is that a free medicine was offered to families back in November, and only a handful of patients are accessing it. And there is something worse than having no treatment for your condition, and that is knowing that there is a treatment that's been approved as safe and effective, but you can't access it because you happen to live in one area of the country and you're seeing children in another area who are getting it. And it's causing such grief and distress amongst the families we support, which is why we launched our Time is Muscle campaign back in November, to make sure that the trusts do the right thing and give this drug to the boys who need it.
Emily, good morning. It's Ben here as well. And let's just be really clear on the drug. So this is something that would slow down the development of the condition. It's not a cure, is it? And it was conditionally approved in December, offered for free under an early access programme while it was awaiting for full NHS approval. Just explain where we are on that scale of approval. Has this got the green light to be prescribed in the UK?
Well, Ben, it's a good question. The drug was given a conditional authorisation by the MHRA, the Medicines Health Regulatory Authority, in December. And what happens next is that companies have to take their drugs to NICE, and then NICE review them for their cost effectiveness. And that is happening in July. But every day that these boys are without this drug, their muscles are dying. So every day really matters. And this is why we were very grateful to the company when in November they offered the drug for free while the drug was being assessed by the regulators. And they've offered it throughout Europe and in the UK. And just as a comparison, in Italy, there are over 130 boys now being given givinostat. And in the UK, it's still a handful.
And there is a time element here, isn't it? Because this drug needs to be administered before the condition progresses to a stage where it can't help. Is that right?
Well, currently the company is offering it for ambulant patients, but they've also said they will offer it to boys who are not walking. But what we're experiencing is the trusts saying no to delivering this medicine, and we want to roll it out to boys who can walk and also boys who cannot walk, because for them there is still a benefit in taking this drug and help to keep their arms moving and help their breathing in the longer term. So we are pushing on all fronts. What's so challenging about it, as I said, is that some trusts are delivering and others are not. And we just have to persuade those trusts to do the right thing by these patients. This is a free drug. It's 2 spoonfuls of medicine a day with some extra blood tests. It really shouldn't be breaking the system.
And we asked the government for a response to this story, and the Health and Social Care Secretary met with families and Duchenne UK to learn more about their experiences. The government went on to say that he's aware of their concerns and will update in due course. How reassuring is that for you, and how much hope does it give you that things may progress in the way you hope?
Well, last weekend in Scotland, because of the intervention of the Health Secretary, Neil Gray, all of the trusts did a U-turn and they're now delivering givinostat. Unfortunately, in England, the setup is slightly different. And so the Secretary of State for Health and Social Care cannot directly compel the trusts to act and to deliver givinostat. But he met with myself and my co-founder, Alex, and our sons, Eli and Jack. And he said to us, listen, I don't normally get involved in things like this, but I've been so moved by your story and by the unfairness of this that I want to help. And we hope that the Health Secretary will follow up on that and will help us in this campaign. But, the system isn't set up to allow him to do that. What is stopping this is the CEOs of the trusts and the senior leadership teams who often don't have patience in making those strategic decisions. And they are the ones who are standing in the way of our boys getting these drugs.
Well, Emily, it's been really good to talk to you and to hear your perspective on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No,